you are joining us today as we get to meet Farmer Katelin and, of course, your adorable calves, Coco, Raindrop, and Skittles. First, this live chat is part of the Adopt a Cow program. More than 40,000 teachers and 1 million students join us every year for free, thanks to our generous supporters like the Dairy Alliance and the Dairy Excellence Foundation. The Adopt a Cow and Discover Dairy program are free online resources that cover Common Core standards in math, reading, and science, all while using dairy to teach those concepts. The resources can be found at discoverdairy.com, and we'll go ahead and put it in the chat so you have easy access to that link. Next, we would love to have you join the Adopt a Cow program next year. So if you're interested in joining again or you're new to the program and you want to join the fun, registration will open on May 1st. So once it's May 1st through September 15th, you can go to discoverdairy.com/adopt. And there you can either log in and re-enroll, or if you're new, go ahead and create an account and get started. Next, as we continue to join live today, you'll see that chat feature is enabled. Please feel free to go ahead and keep using that chat feature to comment and ask questions all throughout our time together. In the second half, we'll get to your questions and start asking them with Farmer Katelin. We're excited to hear your questions. I know Farmer Katlin's excited to answer. We do just ask that you keep those answers and questions school appropriate and related to our chat. Now, before we go to Farmer Katelin, let's see who is joining us today. So let's hop over to that chat and see. It looks like we had some folks early on join us this morning and already excited to ask questions. So hello and good morning. We have we had a Grayson come on this morning. We had a Mrs. Wested's class in Hamilton and Harris County, Georgia. Hello and welcome. We have Dakula Elementary School. Welcome and good afternoon. We've got Mrs. Duvall's class in Madison, Georgia, only a few minutes away from Big Sandy Creek. So hello, you guys are welcome. Hello, all. Let's see. We've got Sumter County Primary School in Americus, Georgia. We have Mrs. Murray's gifted fourth grade class in Douglasville, Georgia. They are here and waiting. And let's drop down a little bit further. We've got some first graders in Athens Christian School. Some homeschoolers are joining us today who adopted Raindrop. Hello, all. And let's see. We've got Mrs. Adams' third grade class in Lakeland and one more down here further. Let's see. We've got Mrs. Hurst's first grade class in Pearson Elementary who adopted Coco, and they're excited to see Coco and Farmer Katelin. So without further ado, we are excited to introduce you to Farmer Katelin. Hey, Farmer Katelin, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm excited to see y'all. Hope y'all are all doing well today. We're excited to have you guys on the virtual chat with us today. We've got Coco, Raindrop, and Skittles ready to say hello.
Oh, yay, we're so excited. We are going to be getting ready to, as you said, see our calves, but of course, get to know you a little bit more and your farm. So Farmer Katelin, if you want to tell us about you and your farm a little bit, and I apologize, I think your mic might have gotten muted. If you want to just pull your phone out and unmute yourself, then you should be good.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can, yes, you're good.
Perfect. So our family farm was established in 1947 here in Madison, Georgia. So we've been in operation for about 75 years. Our grandparents started this farm when they moved to Georgia from Connecticut. They were tired of the snow, so they moved to Madison, Georgia. They wanted to pick a farm that had running water on it and was close to the University of Georgia, so they picked Madison, Georgia. I have two sisters, Alyssa and Leah, and my mom, her name is Julie, and my dad's name is Farmer John. Dad farms full time. Mom is a teacher. I work for Farm Credit. Leah is a preschool teacher, and Alyssa is an engineer. So we kind of all have other things going on as well. We loan out calves for students to show through 4-H and FFA. So this year, all three of the Adopt a Cows were shown by kids across the state of Georgia, and they traveled, as many of you I'm sure saw on our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Cool.
But we do a lot with 4-H and FFA, and we actually have a 4-H group coming tomorrow to visit with these girls as well. So we do a lot. We don't sleep a lot, but we're excited to have y'all here.
Yeah, you guys sound like you are very, very busy. And I know if anyone follows you all on social media, you've been sharing a lot lately of some just random talents you all have. Or I think someone has their pilot's license or is going for their pilot's license. Isn't that something that, yeah.
Alyssa is working on hers.
That's so cool. We love farm families that are just very involved in their community beyond the farm. So thank you so much for introducing yourselves and letting us get to know you a little bit. But of course, one of our favorite parts are our adorable calves. So Farmer Caitlin, I will let you introduce us to all of our lovely ladies that you have with you today.
All right, so we've got the three girls. Raindrop here. She was born at the end of September. All these girls were born about the same time. You can see her ready to say hello. We all three of them got brand new halters for today's chat, so they're super
Oh,
excited for those. Raindrop here, her dam's name or her mom's name was Raina, and her grand dam, her name was Rainbow. So her grandma Rainbow was actually one of my show cows when I was
oh.
showing cows in high school.
Oh my goodness, that's cool. So you've got quite a different generations and generations of cows on your farm and see lots of different daughters come through your farm. That's cool.
For sure. And you can see Raindrop has grown a lot this school year from the pictures we originally sent out.
Oh my goodness. Farmer Caitlin, can you remind us? I know you told me earlier, how tall is she now and about how much was she weighing?
So we measure cows at the withers, which is their shoulders right here. So from ground to withers, Raindrop here is 41 inches tall. We
Wow.
weigh taped her a little bit ago, and she weighs about 400 pounds.
Oh my goodness. 400 pounds. I don't remember what the last update was, but it was definitely nowhere near 400 pounds. I could not believe how much they have grown in just the short time that we had our last update when they were 6 months old. And I can see that they're chowing down on something. I'm sure that helps with their growth. What are they chowing down on today?
Raindrop here's got a little bit of some silage in front of her, and she's currently eating some hay that we baled up last summer here on our farm. That's one of their favorite little snacks. Raindrop is very food aggressive. She will fight for food. She loves to eat. As you can see, this nice belly on her. She really likes treats too. Tyler, who showed her this year, gave her a lot of oranges. She
Oh.
is a big sucker for a Gatorade, though. So she's a big
Oh
Gatorade fan.
man, she likes those electrolytes, huh?
Oh, yes, she will
That's
chase you down if she sees a Gatorade bottle. So watch
Oh
out.
my goodness. That's too cute. And I know you had mentioned, so Tyler is that 4-H'er that was showing the animals for you and taking care of them for a little while. So thank you to
Yep.
those awesome 4-H'ers for taking such good care of these calves. But of course, they're back on the farm, and you, Farmer Caitlin, and your family are taking care of them. So it was nice getting to hang out with Rainbow here for a little bit. We can let her eat and maybe check out our one of our other adopted calves.
All right, so we're taking the halter off so she's free to go and hang out some. The next calf we have here, you see she's laying down. This is Coco. Um, Coco is she's grown a lot actually. We measured her a few minutes ago and she is 45 inches tall at the withers.
Oh
So
my
she's getting
goodness.
pretty tall pretty quick. She's chilling here, um,
Oh,
hanging out, having a good time, and she weighs about 425 pounds.
oh
So
my
she's a little bit
goodness.
taller, so that is a fitting weight for her at her age.
Sure.
Um,
And they're
but
all
yeah, all these,
about like 7 months old, 8 months old. Does that sound about
yes,
right?
ma'am, about, yeah, September to, yes, so they're about 7 months old.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, good. Now Coco looks so relaxed and but she's doing something. She looks like she's chewing bubble gum. Farmer Caitlin, can you tell us what she's doing right now?
Yep, so Coco is chewing her cud. The way the cow's digestive system is set up is they have one stomach with four different compartments. So that means they're a ruminant. So they will eat their food the first time. You see, she's going to spit some food back up right there, and she will chew it. So that's a way that they regurgitate it and then chew it again to process it before it goes to the second stomach compartment. So those stomach compartments are the rumen, the reticulum, the omasum, and the abomasum, and they have different processes. So one is fermentation, one separates like liquids and solids, and one separates like fine solids to thick solids, and then the last one is more like what they call the true stomach, like our stomach that's very acidic.
Interesting. And so that's what helps them be able to eat foods that humans can't, right? Like cows can be pretty cool recyclers. What are some things that your cows eat on your farm?
So we like to call them upcyclers as well. So they take
Ah,
up things that we can't use and recycle it for their growth and development, and some of our milk cows for to make milk. Some of those things include cottonseed, corn gluten. citrus pulp, different things like that. So those come from other industries as waste, and we use them to feed our cows and
Yeah.
help for them to grow.
That's really cool. I think, and I know some of those make sense for your region of the country. I think some of our farms, like in the northern area, we're near Hershey. If anyone's ever been to Hershey Park, we've had some farms around here that their cows get chocolate, which is pretty cool, the leftover chocolate. So I guess it just depends on where you are in the country, but it's neat that these cows can take something that would otherwise be waste and get thrown in the landfills, but they can eat it and it's healthy for them and they can digest it and make absolutely fantastic milk. So that's really neat that our cows can do that. Very cool. So we've gotten to hang out with Coco, and I believe we have one more adopted calf to hang out with.
Skittles over here is hanging out as well, taking that afternoon nap. We had a farm tour this morning, so they're a little tired from all the excitement. Skittles here was shown by Molly, and Coco was shown by a little boy named Peyton. But Skittles was shown by Molly. She has grown to be about 40.5 inches tall. We're not surprised that she's a little short. Her mom is kind of a shorter cow as well, so that runs genetically for her. And
Gotcha.
she weighs about 350, 400 pounds as well. So right in that area with everybody else. So she's grown a
Oh.
lot. You can see she's chewing her cud as well, getting on with that afternoon um, bubble gum and then a
Hmm.
nap soon after that.
Now her name is Skittles. Does she like Skittles?
She does like Skittles.
Oh no.
I think there's a video on our Instagram from back at the beginning of the school year, and she had like a rainbow tongue. It was quite.
Oh. Oh my gosh, that's too cute. How did you come up with the name Skittles or any of these names for that matter? How do you name them?
We try to give them something unique, but also that fits their personality. So Raindrop, we kind of stuck with the R's, and since we had Rainbow and Raina in her family name, she was a little bitty thing, so she was like a little drop. So we went with
Oh.
Raindrop. Skittles here, it was just something different. She kind of has some round spots on her that kind of made us think of Skittles. And then again, she likes Skittles as well, so we thought that fit. Coco, when she was born, had a little bit of a chocolatey color. Her mom has more of a brownie chocolatey color. So we thought Coco was fitting for her as well, kind of that chocolate, like hot cocoa idea. Uh,
Aw, very
so we
cute.
try to
I
give them
love that.
unique names. We try not to repeat names, but that can be very hard
Oh,
sometimes.
I'm sure. So, Farmer Caitlin, how many cows do you have to take care of on your farm?
We have about 200 head of Holsteins. We
Wow.
milk about 80 twice a day, every day. So the rest are our calves, our dry cows, our heifers, different groups of cows on the farm.
Gotcha. Now, you said the word dry cow. What does that mean if they're a dry cow?
So after a cow has her first lactation or has her first baby and starts producing milk, she will get bred again. And then 7 months into their 9 month pregnancy period, we give them what we call a dry period, where they go out on pasture and they're not producing milk for 2 months before they calve and come back into the milk herd.
Ah, so that dry cow is kind of like a vacation for 2 months, right? They get to just hang out, relax in the sun if it's warm out, and then they get to join the milking herd. Now, when will our adopted calves get to join the milking herd?
So we breed our cows about 15 months old, so they'll calve in to have their first calf at 2 years old. So that's when they'll start producing milk and join the milking herd.
Okay, so 2 years old. Now, for anyone that's listening, maybe that sounds like it might be young. Is that pretty typical for a dairy cow? Because a 2-year-old human is definitely too little to have a baby. So is that pretty normal for cows?
Yep. So our cows grow pretty quickly and they develop very quickly as well. So when a
Ah,
calf is born, they weigh anywhere about 50 to 75 pounds, maybe 100 if you get some larger ones. And they'll be
wow.
their full size and like full mature size and weight by the age of 15 months, 2 years old. And they'll be about 1,500 pounds then. So they grow quickly. And the
Wow.
average lifespan for a cow is about 8 to 10 years old. So
Okay, so 8 to 10 years old is average for a cow. What's your oldest cow on your farm?
our current oldest is about 15 years old.
Wow. Oh my
The oldest
goodness.
we've ever had was 22.
20. Wow. Okay, that one I actually did not remember that. That's
Yeah.
impressive. That that is an old cow because I'm pretty sure I've heard that one cow years, about 10 human years. So she just surpassed all expectations
For
of a
sure.
lifehood of a cow. That's amazing. Farmer Caitlin, we've had some questions from some classes come in that they saw that these cows were at the fair, as you mentioned, they were shown, and they saw some of them had ribbons in their pictures. Can you just talk about, do you remember how they placed or how they did at the fairs?
Okay, so actually, Coco and Raindrop were in the same class at the um, state livestock show. They were in the very
Oh.
first class, and we took home from some of our calves first, second, and third place in the first class. So we were very excited. Coco got first, and Raindrop got third, and then another cow we have named Dip and Dot took second place.
Oh.
Uh, it was pretty cool. Skittles here, I think she was like fifth or sixth in her class. So
Okay.
still super competitive to be in the top 10 of a class at the state show. So
Oh
very
yeah.
excited for that.
Absolutely. Well, congrats to you guys and of course to the showers for doing a great job. What do you have to do for a cow to get them ready for a show?
Oof. It's a lot of work. So these 4-Hers and FFA students have put in a lot of time and effort with their animals for sure. The first thing is kind of halter breaking. You want them to make sure they walk on a halter. So it's kind of like leash training for your dog. If anybody
Ah.
on here watching has dogs.
Mhm.
Um, then you have to teach them to set their feet a certain way, stand a certain way. They get fed a special diet. At a show, they get a haircut and they
Oh.
get shined up real pretty to look their best at the show. They get what we do a top line down the top of their back to help correct any imperfections so we can clip them
Mm.
to make them look their best.
Interesting. So is that top line I'm trying to relate it, maybe like a mohawk for a person? It's kind of a
Yep.
similar concept. Yeah. Oh, very
Similar
cool.
concept. Yep.
I love that. So then they get to go get walked around the ring because by that point, hopefully they're a little bit calmer and they're able to be worked with on the halter, and then they get to hopefully win the show or at least place in the show. And it sounds like all of our ladies did a nice job at the state fair. So congrats to all of you guys. Let's see. Oh, we had a good question. We kind of talked about it, but let's just answer the specific question. We had a question from Julia in Mrs. Duvall's class. She asked, when will Skittles, or all three of them, be able to have a calf of their own?
So we'll breed them about 15 months old and they'll have their
Mhm.
first calf at 2 years old.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that reminder. 2 years old. And then is it about how often will they have a calf? And is it common to have one or two or three?
So typically a cow will have a calf every year. That's typical with their production, their cycles, the lactation curve and things like that. That'll get a little heavier into science than we're here to talk about today. So they'll have a calf every year. Most of our Holsteins here on our farm produce about 8 to 10 gallons a day. And what was the second half of that question? Remind me.
I was already reading the next question and now I forget. I think we were, oh man. Well, hopefully it'll come back to me. We'll come back to it. Maybe someone will remember and let us know in the chat. That'll be helpful. We had a good question from Miss Nelson. They were wondering, do cows need hoof maintenance like horses do?
So a lot of dairy farms will do hoof maintenance and they get a nice little pedicure. A lot of those dairy farms that do that have their cows in freestall barns or in another indoor barn setting. Our cows are actually pasture based, so they actually wear down their hooves a lot more naturally. But we can give them pedicures if we need to, but typically ours do pretty well without them.
Interesting. So that wear and not wear and tear. I mean, it's natural for them to be on the pasture, but that just helps to
Right.
kind of grind down their hoof a little bit. And
Yep.
so then our barns and our farms that would have their cows in the barn, which is more normal, I would say, for us up here in the north, just because it's colder longer of the year. Then you'll
Right.
see some good hoof maintenance to keep up with that since they're not outside. Okay, that makes sense. Very cool.
Yep. And a lot of our show girls, like these girls, have all had pedicures to help them look their best at shows.
Oh, very cute. I think, do I remember correctly that you might even like polish their hooves? Do you put any polish on their hooves at all?
We do. We make them as shiny
Oh,
as we can get them. These
oh my
girls
goodness.
look like Barbies when we're done with them.
Ah.
So
Oh, I'm sure they were adorable. I think you even have a calf named Barbie, don't you?
we do have a Barbie.
I thought so. I've seen that on social. So if anyone's following them on social, you'll get to learn all kinds of stuff about the Penkoski family. Let's see. We have another question from Jillian at MES. They were wondering, what does the farmer, you, provide to the calf that's the most important for growth?
Hmm. So typically, there are a lot of different things, and I'm sure every farm has a different opinion on what's best for their animals and their growth system.
Hmm.
For us, the top three things will probably be vaccinations to make sure they're healthy,
Mm,
and then protein and carbohydrates for like protein to grow and energy to grow as well.
yeah.
And those are also important for milk cows making milk. So those are the top three things that are really important for us. They can get those in different ways.
Hmm.
Fiber is also very important. So again, Raindrops eat some hay, which is a big fiber option for us. Some of your protein sources will be like soybeans, cottonseed. Energy, the biggest energy source is going to typically be corn, corn silage, hominy, corn gluten, different forms of corn are really important for cows.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. This is an interesting one from Mr. Scott. They were wondering, do cows have last names?
No, I guess you could say they're all Benkoski girls if you wanted to, but they don't
Ah,
really have last names.
I like that. They're all Benkoski girls. That's
Yeah.
cute. That's cute.
Some of our
Um,
registered cows have full long registered names, but not
gotcha.
really a
Gotcha.
last name.
Gotcha. Let's see. We had a good question from Miss Cogans. They were wondering if you had any other animals on the farm other than cows. Specifically, they mentioned dogs, but do you have any other animals at all?
We do have a dog. So our farm is split by a major highway. So we have half of our farm on one side, half on the other. So we do have a dog, but she doesn't come to this side of the road. She's actually on the side of the road with our house right now. She is a Blue Heeler Border Collie cross, and her name is
Oh,
Shyla.
very nice. Like that. I like that. Let's see if you know the answer to this one. We have someone wondering if you know where your cow's milk goes. Do you know what it's bottled to or made into and like what grocery stores or anything like that?
So we sell our milk through a co-op called DFA or Dairy Farmers of America, and they usually send our milk to where we can get the best price or where milk needs to go to be able to be processed the quickest. A lot of our milk goes to Mayfield, Pet, Borden cheese, a couple of those different things like that.
Okay, very cool. Let's see. Mrs. Moe's class in Hamilton, Georgia. They said, we know that each cow can drink a bathtub full of water. Somebody is learning lots of good things, but they're wondering how much do they eat, a grown cow?
A grown cow eats about 100 pounds a day between hay, grass, feed, all the different things that they take in.
Wow, 100 pounds of feed, and you said you have about 80 grown cows that you milk. So that is, am I doing that right? 8,000 pounds of feed a day that you need to feed all your cows?
Yeah, these girls can eat.
Oh my goodness, that is a lot. Now, do you raise any of that food yourself? Do you buy that in? What's in that mixed feed?
So a lot of our feed is brought in, so we have it
Mhm.
custom blended at a local feed store.
Gotcha.
Some of our feed is purchased as well. So we purchase some of our corn silage. And then the main thing that we do for our production here on the farm is our own hay production. So we do hay pretty much all summer long. We grow different varieties. Some of it we sell, and then the majority of it we do keep.
Gotcha. All right, very cool. We had a good question, just a clear, this is a good clarification question. So we can see that they're in a pen with you right now. Is this where they normally live or where are they normally living right now?
So we are part of rural America, so cell phone service is not always great. So we have to bring them up close to the barn where we get good cell phone service. They are normally in a pasture. Their
Ah,
pasture mates are a lot of the other show cows. We try to group them by age and size so that they're not competing for food, that they get along well in their groups.
gotcha. Gotcha. So they're usually out on pasture, and today you just brought them up close and personal for us so we could spend some time with them. Very nice.
That's right.
Farmer Katelin, we have had a lot of great questions coming in. I'm going to have one more question here from a teacher and then one more question after that, and we'll start wrapping up. But this is a great question. They were wondering how, and this is from Mrs. Moy's class as well. They were wondering, how do you know if a calf is sick? How do you help them get better? And is there anything you can do to prevent sickness?
So, they can't really talk to us and tell us that they don't feel good, like a child or a student or a loved one.
Hmm.
So we have to look for signs. So we have to know what their normal is. So we look, one of the big indicators is their ears. So you can see Coco's ears right now. They're perked up. They're a little bit back because she's listening to me talk.
Hmm.
But when they don't feel good, those ears droop down. It's kind of like they've frowned or made a sad face. So watching those ears is a big indicator.
Okay.
The eyes, we look at their eyes for brightness. So you can see her eyes are bright, they're not dull, they're shiny like they should be. They're not sunken in. So if they're sunken in, that gives us a clue that they're dehydrated. So they're not taking in food and water like they should. If
Ah.
they're not eating their normal feed like they should, that's a big indicator too. So
Hmm.
that's kind of how we tell if cows are sick. We can also take their temperature, but knowing a cow's normal and looking for things for signs from her helps us identify if they're sick.
Yeah, which means you've got to be really paying attention to these girls normally, because I'm sure some of the calves and the heifers are more energetic than others. So you have to really know each
For
one
sure.
to then know when someone's not feeling right. Because, like you said, they can't just tell you like, "Hey, Farmer Caitlin, something's going on. I'm not feeling good." You've got to be able to pay
Right.
attention and be able to help them out. So if you do notice any of those things, what's something that you can do to help them get better?
We actually have a really awesome veterinarian that we work with. Her name is Dr. Amy. She is wonderful, and we work with her to get some medical care for these animals as well as any nutritional issues that they may have. Um, but we are again in a rural area, small family farm, so there's a lot of things we can do on our own. We may group them by themselves to get them away from the herd to help better monitor the feed and water that they're intaking. We may give them probiotics, antibiotics if they're really sick, different things that will help our girls feel better, but based on the needs or the sickness that they have, we monitor what they need.
Gotcha. So different things, just like humans, have a different way of helping to take care of that illness. But you've got things lined up and you work with a vet to make sure they're well taken care of. Very cool. I like that. It sounds like they have a very happy and healthy home to live with you guys at Big Sandy Creek Dairy. And we've loved following these awesome ladies this year. But of course, most importantly, Farmer Caitlin, we just want to say thank you for being an amazing farmer and doing this with us. We've talked a lot about what you do to care for these cows, and it sounds like it's a demanding job. Plus, all of you have a full-time job outside of this. We'd love to know, to wrap up today, just what's your why? What's your passion behind still doing this and farming? And, why does your family work so hard to do this? What's your why for dairy farming?
That's kind of hard. I think probably we enjoy it. Firstly, we love cows. We love living where we live on our family farm that's been passed down for generations.
Mhm.
We love the dairy industry. It's a group of wonderful people. But we have taken the opportunities of our farm and sometimes the lack of opportunities we've spun to do agritourism and different
Mm.
outreach programs. And we love educating others about dairy and about agriculture. And so that's really big for us as a whole family. Like we really are big on advocating for the dairy industry as well as the agricultural community.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like a big part of it is just because then you get to work with family and also really share that message of how good the dairy industry is, how good dairy is for you, and providing a really unique opportunity for some folks in Georgia and anyone driving through to come and check out your farm. Now, you mentioned that you do tours. Do you want to talk a little bit about anything you have coming up at all?
So we are pretty much booked solid for the month of April.
Nice.
We have some openings in May. We do have an open house farm tour date this weekend. That'll start at 10 a.m. It's $10 a person, and we will have the adopted cows in this pen ready to meet and greet whoever wants to come and meet them as well. And then we
Oh.
have our 5K on May 18th in May. So it runs through some of our hay fields and through our cow pastures with some of our cows. So it's a pretty neat opportunity as well.
Oh my goodness. So people could come run through your fields essentially. I'm sure it's marked where they're supposed to go, but they
Yes.
get to do they get to do a 5K on your farm. How cool is that? Now, I'm pretty sure you guys are raising funds. I think it's tied with a local 4-H. Am I mistaken? Is that correct?
Yep. So we try to rotate who we donate some of the funds back from the 5K. Last year we did the Adopt a Cow program.
Hmm.
This year we're doing our local 4-H.
Awesome. Oh, that's so cool. So if anyone likes to run, is there an age limit on it at all, Farmer Caitlin?
Nope, we had some really young kids last year. I think the youngest was probably 8 to 10, and then the oldest person I think was like 80 something out here. So
Wow.
pretty wide age group, which was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, I love that. So if anyone loves to run, definitely check out the Big Sandy Creek Dairies 5K that they've got coming up in May. We actually do have that posted on our website on one of our pages where all of the different farm events are. But I'm sure if you go follow them on social media, you can find it there too. Farmer Caitlin, we have loved getting to touch base with you today. Thank you so much for not only today, but for all year sharing your calves with us and doing this for many years in a row. If anyone on here has done this in the past, you know how awesome Farmer Caitlin is, and she always has such cute calves that we get to work with. So thank you so much for just doing this time and time again and really caring about wanting to share the message of how dairy is so good for you and how you guys are great stewards of your cows, of your land, and for your community. So thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us before we tuned off today?
No, I just want to say thank y'all for participating this year. Thank you for adopting our girls. They appreciated all the love. We appreciated all the cards, messages we've received. So thank y'all for being awesome adopters this year. We've had a great time and we hope you do it again next year.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. We hope to have you next year. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. May 1st, you can re enroll and get signed up and have some more fun next year with some new calves. So we will hopefully see you then.